Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, we're taking a walk through Dania. We're in my hood right now, if you want to call it that. But I wanted to just do this video about Regis Prograis because I didn't get a chance to go live for his fight this past weekend. He fought Kyle Relic in his first world title fight, and I believe he stopped him, was the 6th round, 7th round, something like that. And he just looked really sensational, man. It was a 180 from his last fight against Terry Flanagan. His last fight against Terry Flanagan, he showed superb boxing skills, and he won 12 rounds and outboxed a former world champion. In this fight, he fought a current world champion, and he was devastating from the word go. We saw Regis Prograis in his quick twitch reflexes and his style, counter-punching, leading on offense on full display. He had beaten down, battered, bruised, and bloodied up Terry Flanagan early in the fight. Kyle Relic. And he just, Relic's a guy that's durable. He's never been, I believe he's never been stopped before. He's barely, his only loss was to Bartholomew, and he avenged that one. So it was a statement performance from Regis Prograis. Just a statement performance of the highest order against a guy at that level. And he stepped it up. In the World Boxing Super Series, he stepped it up levels every fight. He fights a guy that was a title holder in Flanagan, not a highly rated world champion, but a world champion nonetheless, former world champion. Then he fights Relic, who I remember when he fought Bartholomew in the second fight, I believe he shut him out. I think he might have shut out Bartholomew if I'm not mistaken, because I remember I was live for that one. Shut him out and beat him with relative ease in their second fight. And just a durable fighter, a guy that's worthy of respect. He was a guy that many people coming in was thinking that this is going to be a kind of guy that's going to challenge and really give Prograis a tough fight, and that wasn't the case. That was not the case from Kyle Relic. And Prograis, following this victory, he gave one of my favorite interviews I've ever heard this year, where he says, "These little boys at 140, can't fuck with me. I am the best, and I'm gonna keep proving it." And that dude, he barely never even lost. Like, he was just the confidence, the bravado, it was oozing out Prograis. And now he's in the final of the World Boxing Super Series, and he's gonna fight the winner of Josh Taylor versus Ivan the Beast Baranchyk. And I'll tell you this, man, I'm looking very forward to that fight. I'm looking very forward to whoever he fights out of that fight. Ideally, I want it to be Josh Taylor, because that's the fight I've been wanting to see in the tournament. And that's a guy in Taylor. When we talk Josh Taylor, we're talking about a guy who would come into the ring taller than Prograis, longer than Prograis. He was not, no disrespect to Relic or Flanagan. They're both solid fighters. But they're both, in some ways, there's things in their style and things that they do in the ring that are made to order for a guy like Regis Prograis. And let me tell you what I mean when I say that. Okay, when you fight a guy like Regis Prograis, this is a guy that is incredibly athletic, who punches come very fast from very weird angles. And to beat a guy like that, you're gonna need to be a fighter that can combat that, either with counter punching or someone that is equally as athletic with solid power to keep him honest. You see what I'm saying? And he fought in fighting a guy like Josh Taylor, he'd finally be stepping it up against a guy that way. A guy that can punch with both hands, has good boxing skills, has been tested in the professional ranks of boxing. Taylor's been in there with, he stepped it up every level he stepped it up. He's passed it with flying colors. Whether we're talking about his fights at O'Hara Davies, or Miguel Vasquez, or Victor the Iceman Postal, or his first fight in the series against Ryan Martin, he has passed every test with flying colors. And I know I'm not alone. I know there's plenty of people that are picking Josh Taylor to win this tournament, and for good reason. The guy is an excellent fighter, and Regis Prograis has not yet to fight another guy who I would say is on equal standing to him as far as skills, as far as punching power, as far as athletic ability. He's never fought a guy as athletic as Josh Taylor. So it's a fight where I think we're going to see Regis Prograis thoroughly tested. And I mean in a major way, because I went back, and before the fight Relic, I did go back and I watched the whole fight. I rewatched the whole fight with him and Terry Flanagan. And Terry Flanagan, when you watch Terry Flanagan fight, he's, you know, a guy that he's got good fundamentals, but he's a basic boxer in the sense that, you know, he pretty much, you know, everything is straight. You know, he moves a certain way, but it's not, you don't really see anything too crazy from Terry Flanagan as far as movement or punching angles. It's very, very basic stuff. So that's why he's kind of made the order for pro grade. With Taylor can punch with different angles. And I was watching this fight against Flanagan, and, you know, there were spots in that fight, not a lot of spots, but there were spots where Flanagan was able to punch in between Prograde's punches and land clearly and flush. Now, they weren't a lot, and even when he did land, he didn't possess the kind of punching power or the kind of dexterity on his punches to land things that would make Regis Prograis have to think twice. You know, Prograis can sit there in the pocket, he might get clipped, he might get grazed with a punch, but he didn't have to worry about that. Now, I'm no sidekick, okay, I'm not Miss Cleo, but Josh Taylor's punches, Josh Taylor is a much harder puncher than Terry Flanagan. And in order for Regis to beat Josh Taylor, I think it's gonna take, he's gonna have to move a lot more. He's not gonna be, he won't be able to sit there in the pocket for long periods of that fight and just abuse him in the pocket like he's been doing to Kyle Relic and Terry Flanagan. He's gonna have to show dimensions to his overall boxing skill set. He's gonna have to show why he was the #1 seed in this tournament. He's going to have to just show that he's a chameleon and that you can adapt to different things. And when you get to this level of boxing, you have to show these things at the world championship level. You see what I'm saying? And you know, I really want Taylor to win this fight, and that's not a gimme because Baranchyk, you know, is a good fighter. Baranchyk is one of the most explosive punchers in the division. But if Baranchyk beats Taylor and he fights Prograis, that matchup definitely favors Prograis a lot more than it would Taylor. Prograis than, you know, if he were to fight Josh Taylor, because Baranchyk, for all he's good, you know, he's athletic, he's explosive, he's a good puncher, but Baranchyk is someone where Regis Prograis can continue fighting the way he's been fighting and not get tested, which is fighting in the pocket, catching shots, countering. That's what he did against Flanagan. That's what he did against Relic, and that's what he'll do if he fights Baranchyk. Obviously, it'll be a lot harder to do it against Baranchyk because Baranchyk can hit you with some real hard punches. But we all know that if you watch Baranchyk fight, that after the 4th round, it gets a lot easier to basically to fight him because his power drops off. You see what I'm saying? So it's not a knock on Baranchyk. These are just facts. If you don't believe me, go rewatch the fight with Peter Petrov. Dominated him for the first 4 or 5 rounds. When he couldn't get rid of him, you know, he became a more beatable fighter. That's not even a Baranchyk thing. That's the case with most power punchers in the sport of boxing. So Josh Taylor will bring the best out of Regis Prograis, and vice versa. I think Regis Prograis will bring the best out of Josh Taylor because, let's have it right, you know, Josh Taylor, the guy he's been beaten, whether we talk about O'Hara Davies, whether we talk about Vasquez or Victor Postol, they haven't been the most athletic fighters in the world. And it's going to be a mission and a half to find Regis Prograis. And that's the fight I really want to see. It's one of the top fights in boxing for me. Yeah, so just overall, a really good performance from Regis Prograis against Kyle Relic, a world champion, a guy that's worthy of respect, a guy that's worthy of, you know, just all those things. And I think, I think Josh Taylor will do the business come May 18th against Ivan Baranchyk. I'll definitely be covering it as it gets closer and closer in the coming weeks here on True School of Sports. But just wanted to get my thoughts out there on Regis Prograis and his fight with Relic and just all that good stuff, man. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Well, what did you think about Regis Prograis' performance against Kyle Relic this past weekend? And how do you see his style matching up with that of a Josh Taylor? You can leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, like I say in every single video. And we're outside now, so I can yell it. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dane. So until next time, take care, guys.